Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here, somegadgetguy.com, and we are taking a look at the Samsung Gear Fit smartwatch today. I'm really excited about this one. Out of all of Samsung's offerings, this is the one that I've most been wanting to play with, especially having checked out Fitbits in the past and the various other smartwatches that I've worn. This one looked really interesting, and so I'm really excited to give it a spin. Before we jump in, I just need to send a quick shout out to my friends at AT&T for letting me borrow one of their display units so I could provide this review to you guys. That was a major help, and I can't thank them enough. And of course, I just need to reiterate how happy I am with Samsung's packaging of late. This is 100% post-consumer material. It's recycled paper. And thanks to the special inks that they're using, it's a soy-based ink, it is 100% recyclable, which just helps reduce a lot of that plastic waste that just accumulates with all of the various gadgets and gewgaws that we get to play with. Just gotta give Samsung a major thumbs up of glory for that. But now that I've talked about it, we can get rid of the box. In addition to the Gear Fit, the only other thing inside the box is the charger, which just like the Gear 2 and Gear Neo, has a micro USB connector, which then hooks up to this proprietary charging plate, which then snaps onto the back, if I can do this here on video. Whoops, no, I had it right the other way before. Which snaps onto the back of the Gear Fit and allows you to charge it. Now this is cool because this is also IP67 rated for dust and water resistance, and these pins, these connections down here at the bottom, these pin connections, are what allow the watch to be chargeable and waterproof. But like I've mentioned on the Gear 2 videos, I do hope that in the future Samsung is able to take a look at their charging accessories so that we don't have to keep track of these little extra pieces of plastic, that maybe at some point we'll get some sort of universal wireless standard. We travel, we can just pop our phone down on a pad, pop our watch down on a pad and make sure everything's charged. Or that there's some other type of connector we can take a look at that might be better water or weatherproofed without having these extra side accessories to always have to manage. Just walking around the hardware on the Gear Fit, you can definitely see its inspiration as being more of a fitness band, like a Fitbit style watch accessory. You can see the little Gear Fit logo there on the watch band. See, it's a lot slimmer than the Gear 2. It's a little longer, or it's a little taller, depending on what direction we're saying these measurements are traveling in. Now, I was surprised pulling it out of the box to see that it's not any thinner than the Gear 2, but that actually kind of makes sense because you do have these charging pins that you need to work in. There has to be a battery built into the device somewhere. And then we also still have the heart rate monitor, which is great considering that it's a fitness tracker. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the Gear Fit. So it's pretty impressive that they have been able to make it as small as they have. And the rest of the affair is super simple. There's a little power button right there, which turns the watch face on. The watch is touchscreen. We're gonna get into the UI here in just a minute. And then we've got a rubbery plastic, a nice rubbery plastic band. And then instead of having like a standard watch band like we have on the Gear 2, we just have these little plugs which then fit into slots on the watch band on this other side. And that's how you adjust the tightness. And they've got a nice like clicky, rubbery, punchy feel to them. It feels like it'll stay put if you wear your fitness tracker on your wrist or even on your ankle. For those of you who like to Fitbit on your ankle, this is probably gonna do you just fine. All right, we're just gonna fire up this bad boy here and we're gonna walk you through some of the setup process on the Gear Fit just so you can check that out. It's a nice little Samsung splash screen. It's an AMOLED display, so it looks really nice, especially indoors. To connect to your Gear Fit, first download the Gear Fit Manager via your Samsung device. Okay, so let's switch over to the phone. Now, interestingly enough, the Gear Fit uses its own separate manager, which is different than the one that you use for the Gear 2. And to get that, you're gonna go into your Samsung App Store and download it from there. I've mentioned in the past how I get kind of annoyed with the various apps and services and how I have to have multiple app stores on my phone to get everything working together. But seeing as how it's a Samsung proprietary product and a Samsung phone, I guess that's their prerogative. But we're gonna come into the Gear Fit Manager. I'm gonna turn the watch back on. And now it found the Gear Fit, so we're gonna hit that. And now we should see the Gear Fit light up at some point too. Yep, confirm the pairing, hit OK. Ah, there we go. Yeah, the screen touches are a little less sensitive on the Gear Fit. I'm having some problems getting it to register what I'm trying to do. Okay, we're done running that update and blah, blah, blah. End user licensing agreement. No, don't share my data. I understand terms and conditions and I give my firstborn to Samsung. Now we tap the back button to go back. We swipe left and right to move from screen to screen, swipe up and down to scroll through text and notifications, and then press the power key to go to the home screen. And this action is available on all screens. So it uses a slightly different, they've had to translate the Gear interface to a wider or a narrower screen. And real quick, we just want to go through all of the various settings in the Gear Fit Manager. And we don't have quite as many things here as we do on the Gear 2, just because there aren't quite as many things built into the Gear Fit. But we can change the home screen style, like colors and adding images. I'm gonna leave it stock for right now. You know, we can change what the clock layout looks like. We can change what the order of the various apps on the watch are going, how they're going to be displayed. We have our S Health integration. Just as how there's a heart rate monitor built into this phone, there is one built into the back of the Gear Fit so that we can use that. And then we've got our notifications. Let me hit OK. And this allows us to customize what notifications are sent to the watch. And again, just like with the Galaxy Gear and the Gear 2, I'm really happy to see that you can pick exactly what is sent to the watch. So if you want Twitter, you can hit Twitter, but if you don't want Facebook, you just make sure that that's left unchecked, and you can tailor what notifications are sent. And I really like this because it's allowed me on other watches to be able to just turn off the ringer and notifications on my phone, and then I just get these subtle little pulses to my wrist, letting me know what's going on. And I can use the watch to filter my notifications for me, so I don't get everything that goes to my app drawer. I only get those notifications that I think are most important. And then coming into the settings, we've got, let's see, double pressing the power key can give you a quick shortcut to one of your favorite apps. We've got auto lock, again, if you want to lock your Fit, if you want to lock your phone using your Fit. The wake up gesture, just like on the Gear 2, moving your hand up will turn your gear on. And and we can edit call rejection and what text templates that we want to use. Say you're driving your car and someone calls you, you can have a text or a call rejection message sent automatically from your watch. It's a really simple, streamlined interface for a smart wearable device. And again, it definitely showcases Samsung's idea that the Gear Fit is supposed to be a bit more of a Fitbit or a fitness tracker than the everything in the kitchen sink Gear 2 is. And here is the Gear Fit display turned on. Now, I'm a big fan of AMOLED displays, but we'll do an outdoor brightness viewability test here in just a minute. Got the clock, we've got our date, we've got weather conditions based on what's being fed to us from the phone. And we're gonna swipe to the side, and here's where we can catch our missed notifications. Media controller so that we can control our tunes. Let's go into the settings real quick and see. Oh, there is a Find My Device. I love these leash and tether, so that if you're within the range of Bluetooth, if you set your phone down somewhere weird, you can hit this button, it's gonna send an alarm. Actually, let's go ahead and hit it and see. Let's see if we can locate. Yep, and it even turns on the flashlight. That's crazy. It's those little touches that are just a little extra peace of mind so that all of these things are working together and you don't have to worry about, you have to worry a little less about losing your phone. Whoops, I accidentally activated the stopwatch there. So we've got a timer, we've got a stopwatch. We also have a sleep mode here. So if we hit the timer, which we were just in before, and so you can use that as a countdown. We can go into the stopwatch. You hit that. This is nice if you're sort of tracking your runs or if you want to do laps and splits. Get rid of that. And then sleep. Okay, just a little disclaimer that this watch is for fitness purposes only and not for medical use. I don't know about you, but fitness and medical uses kind of go hand in hand. At least there's some Venn diagram overlap, Samsung. But let's hit OK that we agree. When you are ready to sleep, put the Gear Fit on your wrist and tap Start. If you do not want to be disturbed while sleeping, swipe the screen to the left and turn on blocking mode before you tap Start. Okay, so this is also sort of a sleep tracker. And so this will collect data on how you're sleeping, if you're sleeping really restlessly, and that can kind of help tailor your activity regimen, your diet, your exercise, to make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep, because sleep deprivation is probably one of the most destructive things that you can do to yourself outside of taking hardcore drugs and drinking to excess. And moving right along, we've got a pedometer. And so now it'll measure steps, your mileage, how many calories you've burned, and that's all information that you can then sync and feed into S Health. And it's a nice sort of like a nice way to sort of diary or keep track of all of your exercise and activity and your diet. And then you can tap into the heart rate monitor here. Obviously it's not connected to my wrist, but you hit start and it measures your heart rate. And then we swipe one more time and we're back to the main screen. So very, very simplified experience for this smaller screen, but I really do appreciate that they've managed to wedge in most of the features that I like about the Gear 2, and I'm not upset about losing things like the camera or the IR blaster from the Gear 2, as this is really going to focus on notifications and fitness. And those are actually two of the things that I'm most into with my other smartwatches. Can I get good notifications from my phone so I don't have to constantly pull my phone out to look at it? And is it keeping track of my daily activity points? And really that's a majority of what I use a smartwatch for. So this looks like it's going to be a nice alternative to the proper Gear 2s and the Qualcomm Talks in a much more streamlined fashion, and it won't advertise geek quite as much as some of our calculator watch style smartwatches. And here's the Gear Fit opposite the Qualcomm Talk, and you can just see how much smaller, how much less real estate this thing takes up than this honkin' huge watch face on the Qualcomm Talk. It's a nice petite little package, even opposite my current favorite smartwatch on the market right now. And here is the Gear Fit opposite the Martian. These are very different solutions. This is an apples and turnips kind of comparison. But you can see this is a more traditional chronograph with a little display, and you can see it has a very different sort of form factor, fit, and finish than the Gear Fit. And then the plucky Pebble next to the Gear Fit, and I'm actually, it's very similar in terms of just general dimensions. The Gear Fit is just ever so slightly a little longer, but they're about the same thickness, and they've got about the same kind of contour on the front face, this sort of rounded edge that runs alongside the watch. And so this is one of the watches that I think is most comfortable to wear on the inside of your wrist. And ditto the Gear Fit if you want to track it on the inside to keep your notifications a bit more subtle. It's very easy to wear it this style as opposed to front face out. And just in terms of screen brightness, just like with other comparisons with AMOLED displays and the Mirasol display on the Qualcomm Talk, it's going to be very much like your smartphone. Your smartphone looks amazing indoors. It doesn't look quite so great in direct sunlight, whereas the Qualcomm Talk is exactly the opposite. It looks phenomenal outdoors in bright sunlight, but it doesn't look very good indoors with the display being kind of washed out and all those colors being really dim. So the same is going to hold true for the Gear Fit. The Gear Fit, it actually looks a bit better in real life than it does on my video here, but the Gear Fit display is going to get a little washed out when you're trying to look at it in direct sunlight, so you're going to kind of have to do that like cup over sometimes if you're in extremely bright conditions. But on the whole, it actually holds up fairly well, considering that those times where you might actually need to reference the screen while you're out running or while you're just out and about running errands. The controls are so simplified and so easy to navigate that I think it'll work all right. And aside from my demo unit not having the most sensitive display on a touchscreen that I've ever used, I have to say I'm actually really happy with Samsung's approach here to the Gear Fit. Samsung is a company that doesn't really do simple very well. They've built their reputation on cramming in tons of junk. A lot of gimmicks, a lot of gewgaws, a lot of, hey, cool, look at this shiny, pretty things. So they're not always known for having the cleanest or the most sophisticated design. Now, this is still only a first impressions video, and I still want to run through battery life tests, see how it integrates with my phone, how it works with S-Health and other third-party services. So far, out of all of the new watches that Samsung has released, I'm liking the Gear Fit the best. For as many cool things as you can do with the Gear 2 and the Gear 2 Neo, I really rely most on small pieces of information being delivered to my wrist and fitness tracking capabilities. And so this does a terrific job of streamlining that experience, just feeding small pieces of notifications to my wrist, and it's got that wonderful heart rate monitor built right into it along with the pedometer, and really that's most of what I need in a smartwatch. Sure, a bunch of those other things are fun to play with, but if that notification experience isn't premier, then there's really no point in me wearing something on my wrist to communicate with my phone. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching my videos, sharing my videos, subscribing to my channel, hitting that thumbs up button, and dropping me all those comments down below. We've gotten into some fantastic conversations, and that's really what I look forward to most in sharing all of this tech goodness with you fine folks. And I will catch you all on the next review.